Thank you so much. We are here. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are really grateful for just to have an opportunity today to be able to be joined by someone who is absolutely close to me. Really, we met in our first year. You won't believe we met in our first year, and we keep following each other wherever we go. We are just going places to places together, and it's just been an amazing journey from we started as in biomed, we didn't know each other. We used to really walk the mile together barefoot. We would walk. We didn't have cars then. We were just in taking it. And there is one person that has been going from stripes to stripes to stripes. And she's always been a mother to a lot of us. I mean, I was the loud one in class, and she was always like, Leah, we can't start. And we keep to talk. She's such a powerful woman. And, I don't know where she gets her strength from. And I'm pretty sure we will find out today exactly how she does what she does. So without further ado, let's not take further much of your time. And I would like to introduce you to a dear friend, a sister, Zandile Madonsela. Oh my God! Thank you so much. You guys, let's give Zandile some love. If you have not allowed StreamYard to view your name, please just allow them access on the streamyard.com/Facebook and just allow them so we can show your comments here. We have one comment here that says hi, but we cannot see who you are. So we would really like to see who you are so we can say hi back, so we can interact with you. So really, we just want to welcome you, and we want to get the show on the road. Here's a Facebook user. We need a name. Please do allow Facebook to show your name in there. We need your name, guys. We need your name. So thank you so much for coming through. We see Busi Ways on here. Thank you so much, Busi. This is going to be an amazing one, definitely one we have been waiting for. So let's just get straight into it and introduce our guest. So tell us now, who is Zandile Madonsela? I mean, we've known you as Zandi Mbuyisa, and Zandi with a Y, not even an I. Like, hello. You would think she's white. I'm like, okay, no. So tell us a little bit who Zandile is and where do you come from? How did you end up where you are today?
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you, Leah Lesego Mulai, for gracing me, with this opportunity. It's not every day where you get a platform where you can just elaborate on what you do career-wise and inspire somebody out there. So I'm really grateful for this moment, and I hope everything that I'm going to say will enlighten and encourage our fellow med techs out there. So, just a brief description of who I am. My name is Zandile Madonsela. My name.
Any form of relation, we want to know. Before you go, I'm sure everybody has this question to say, like,
Yeah,
really, is there any relation to the crop?
I get that a lot, hey. And what I can say is that, to my knowledge, I don't know any relation to Tuli Madonsela, but who knows? Maybe somehow, somewhere,
Hello. And then we allow you to get straight into it. So, Lalato Matlala says here, hi, Zandile and Mr. So, I mean, anyone can choose. You call me Leah, so I accept it. Hi, Lalato. So, we're going to allow Zandile to just carry on and tell us who is Zandile Madonsela, and the way I used to call her, Zandi Mbuyisa. So, let's get straight into it.
So yeah, as I was saying, I'm Zandile Madonsela, and then I know it's a very big surname that I'm carrying, But yeah, there's no relation whatsoever as far as I know. So my maiden surname is Mbuyisa. So my former classmates will know me by that surname. So
Yeah.
I grew up in a township called Soshanguve. Uh,
Mandonsela.
that's where I was raised from a young age, and I was schooling in Mabopani. So I used to travel from Soshanguve to Mabopani, so from Gauteng to Northwest, basically, going to school to
Yeah.
and fro. I matriculated in 2003, and then from there, I had the a toughest moment of my life because during my matric, I lost my father, and then just when I finished my matric, I lost my mother. So that was a very traumatic period in my life. You can imagine as an 18-year-old, you are an orphan, you don't have any financial, support, and then you have all these dreams of becoming somebody great, but now it looks like your dreams are being shattered.
Yeah.
So I think at that time, had it not been my faith in God, I don't know where I would have ended up at. So I had to anchor myself in the Word of God and just push through and tell myself that God will never give me something that is beyond my strength to survive. So yes, I made
This,
it through.
I mean, at 18, Zandile, where does that, like, where do you get the wisdom at 18 to know that that's what you need to do and be at that time?
It really, it was tough, but like I said, my faith in God, I was continuously going to church, for spiritual upliftment. And then also the friends that I kept at the time, they were also strong believers in God. So they used to encourage me a lot, and then try to show me that it's not the end of the world. Just because you're an
Yeah.
orphan doesn't mean that you can't make it in life. And then I told myself that, seeing that I don't have a mother or a father to pull me through, I need to stand up by myself and change my life. Because if anyone can do it, it's me. Nobody else can come and change my life for me. So I had to take a decision to become an adult at a very young age, and also look after my sister while pushing my studies. So it was really difficult, but I had a goal in mind. I wanted independence. I wanted to stand up on my 2 feet, and change actually the cycle in my family. I was actually the first one to go to tertiary and graduate, so I had to break the chain in my
Ooh,
family.
can we get some love in the comments? I'm seeing like so many beautiful. So, Facebook user, please give stream your access to see your name so we can see here. And this comment says here, strong women. That one. I mean, like
Oh,
we
that's
want to
so
know
great.
who you are. So please, just we want to interact with you. We want to know who you are. So please do
Yes.
give StreamYard. Click on the link there that says streamyard.com/Facebook so we can know exactly who we are talking to. I mean, it's just such an inspiration for such a young person to know at that time, this is what I need to do. I need to have that strength, that faith, and know that you're not carrying this load of breaking this chain that has been in your family for such a
Yeah.
long time, and for you to now have to stand there and be the one that represents. I mean, that for me is just something else. I'm so proud to know you personally and see you go through that and you push every single day. I mean, there is not a day that you were in class and you literally mothered us. Literally. So you know what? So hit us up in the comments. Let us know. You personally know Zandile. How do you know her to be? So one said this
Yes.
is a strong woman. Tell us how you know her to be. So let's continue. How did you find out about biomed? So I know your first love was pharmaceutical. So tell us about that.
Yes. Okay, so when I was in high school, actually, it was between becoming a medical doctor or a pharmacist.
Yeah.
But I was really, my heart was really on pharmacy. I was intrigued by, the pills that we take, the medication that we take. How does it make you feel better? What exactly is it doing in your body to actually
Yeah.
give you the results that you are hoping for? So for me, that was something that was in my bucket list. I wanted to know more about that. So I actually started my education by doing electrical engineering. I don't know why I was doing it because at a young age, yeah, life is really strange, eh? So I did
Yeah.
electrical engineering thinking, okay, here we go. I'm going to be an engineer. And then
Mm.
2 years down the line, I dropped out of electrical engineering and I went for biomed because while I was doing engineering, my heart was still on the medical side, on the
Mm.
pharmaceutical side, because I believe my purpose in life is to help people to use the knowledge that I have and the skills that I have to make people feel better. And
Mm.
when my mother passed on, I felt let down by the medical people that were taking care of her in the hospital. So I wanted other people to have better health than what my mother had. So that was also a drive that pushed me to pursue a career in the medical field. And then
Yeah.
it's really fulfilling for me being a medical technologist. Although we are at the background, we are behind the scenes. But to be honest, without us, the doctors wouldn't know what's really
Yeah.
happening to the patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
play a critical role in terms of diagnosis of the patient and also treating chronic illnesses and all of that. So every time I see a
Mm.
sample tube, I see a person behind it. And then
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
what keeps me going.
just to add on to that, I mean, did you know what biomed was? Because I mean, a lot of us didn't know what it was. So my question then is, you knew?
No, no, no. I not exactly the whole story about it. I used to watch, those CSI
Oh
documentaries. Yeah, and
yes.
then you see the scientists, they it was more of the forensic side that I was seeing on TV. So I thought to myself,
Yes,
I
it
want to do that.
is.
I want to help people. I want to even if it's a drop in the ocean, I want to contribute towards the betterment of people's lives. So that was my idea when I went in. So it's not far
Mhm.
off from what I thought.
Yeah.
Still behind the scenes, doing those tests, making sure patients, are taken care of and they get proper
Yes, I style.
diagnosis treatment. So yeah.
Wow, this is so amazing. So we have some comments on here. So Busisiwe says grace. And that is her one word to describe you, grace. I mean,
Thank
how
you.
else do you describe Busi? Thank you so much, Busi. And I think you're gonna love this one that I see here. I mean, Alex, go and give me that
Ah!
explanation. He says, love one. Always stressing that one is cool. Always, I know. Guys, but basically, Alex, myself, and Zandile were in the same class, and
Yes.
we had a spot where we sit. So literally, we would have Zandile would be sitting on this road at that corner, and I would sit right behind her, and then right next to me is Alex. And we had the same every single day, like every single day. You can't, no one could sit on somebody else's spot. It has to be
Yeah.
exactly that. That is my, like Zandile would move you. Zandile would move you from her, Mia, that's my, I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
you didn't tell Zandile, you didn't come here with a K, but Zandile had this, yo, like I'm loud and crazy, and Zandile had this stories about her that like, Moyana, you move or I will. And like, I think I love my pretty face so much. I was like, hey, let's not even
Yeah.
talk. Let me just move and stay out of her way. And it took us quite some time to understand that Zandile is this laughing character. She's fun. Because she was always so serious and stuff. Like, she was like we are there literally first year playing around. Zandile is like this focus, So I'm just like, for us, it was strange. I know, like Alex was very focused, but
Super,
Zandile was
super.
till the last minute till the last minute. I'm like, so Alex was that guy who by Wednesday, if we write him next week, Tuesday, he's done.
Yeah.
Zandile will study all the way till the last minute of that test. And then when the test is done, she comes out and she looks at her notes also. Oh my God, Zandile, we are done. Like this, what are you gonna do with Zandile would make you stress,
You.
make you think that you have gotten all the answers wrong. I'm just like, but we loved how you just grounded yourself and you kept us in check. And I mean, I don't know what I would have done without you because I probably would have played around so much. And
Yeah,
but
those were the days, hey?
when class started, I would literally walk into class and greet every single person personally. Every single person. I had to make
Yes.
sure that I greeted the whole class. There were 30 plus of us, and I made sure every single person I would go around and
Yeah.
greet
That was
before
you.
the class
Yes.
started.
Wow. You taking me back, hey? You taking me
That
back
was
to
just
those whole days.
amazing.
Oh God.
Oh, wow, but let's continue the story. You then went on and you nailed biomed. You nailed it, you nailed it, you nailed it. And then what?
Yes.
Jeez.
So I remember when I started biomed, like I said, I had no financial support whatsoever. So the first year was really difficult. I didn't have financial what can I say, support from my family. So everyone
Yeah.
had to strive, just to push me for that year. And then, I made sure that I get those distinctions so that I can get a bursary next year. So
Yeah.
that's what happened, by God's grace. The following year, you, me, and Alex, we were the chosen ones for Impact Rugby. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and it couldn't have
Um,
came at the right time. That was what I was hoping for, and I got the breakthrough. So I made
yeah.
sure I pushed through until I finish my 3 years, the national diploma, and then from there we went to the lab, and then
Mhm.
we had to go and write the board exams. So Alex
Yeah.
and I chose to do chemical pathology, which is
Mm.
something that's very close to our hearts. And you chose
Mm.
clinical.
I know. I
Jack of
chose
all
Chem
trades, by
because
the
I
way.
couldn't choose between hematology and Chem Path.
So
And
why
and then
not
I found
have
out I didn't know there was a thing called ClinPath. Actually, I had one
yeah,
of the lab managers. I came to her and I said to her, "Look, I'm not sure. I want to do hematology or chemistry." And I went to both the chemistry manager and the hematology manager to say, "Look, I like both. How do I
yes,
choose?" And they're like, "Oh, you don't have to choose. There's a thing called ClinPath." I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know if we were in an age where we didn't know or we didn't care, but we didn't know there was a thing called tin test. And apparently it was
clinical,
newly
yes,
introduced at the time.
definitely.
Maybe the lecturers didn't know there was such a thing at that time, but we didn't have all the information that everybody else now freely has access to. So I think
Yes.
it's just important for someone. I don't know if there's someone else who still doesn't know that there is an option for TwinPath, but if you don't, there is an option where you can have a combination. So let's focus now on your chemical pathology. So you decided to specialize. So why chemical pathology?
Yeah, you see, as I said before, that I had a serious interest in pharmaceuticals when I was younger. So chemical pathology for me, also known as biochemistry, is related to, how your body reacts, and your electrolytes, things like that. And you also have therapeutic drug monitoring in chemical pathology. So that was an area of interest for me. And then seeing that I want to take the pharmaceutical path, that was the specialty that was more closer to what I wanted to do. And till today, I really enjoy the specialty that I took. And my current role actually is to assist the technologists in the lab, to resolve the issues they have in chemistry and immunochemistry.
Yeah.
So really, that is my passion, Leah. Even today, I'm really, really excited, to go to work. It is tiring sometimes because you use your mind a lot, to
Mhm.
be analytical and all of that. But what wakes me up every day is that, the minute I can resolve an issue on the instrument that is testing the results, the specimens for the patients, then I make a
Yeah.
difference for that patient who's lying in ICU, who's waiting for those critical results. So for me, it's really bigger than just being a job. I
So
feel
let's
like
talk
I'm
then about
making.
your job at this point in time because I think you just skipped right into that. So basically, your role is as a chemistry senior technical specialist. So just for the audience out there, what is that? What do you do? Like, what exactly is this? I mean, the name is a bit, you know. So what exactly do you do?
Yeah,
I
so
like this long job title. Like, what do you do with this long job title? So, for those that don't know, me and Zandile work together. So we work for
yes.
the same company, and we really also work together in the same discipline. I don't do chemistry anymore, but we do immunology together. All right.
Yes,
So let's talk
definitely.
about you and how you got into this diagnostic side of it. So you basically went from the lab and you became a senior technologist at one of the biggest auto labs, right, in chemistry. So because
Yes.
as a specialist, you have to work in a lab that is just chemistry, right? So you can work at a stat lab or a peripheral lab where there's a mix of chemistry, hematology, and all of that. Do you regret doing just chemistry mono?
Not at all, not at all, because from the word go, I had a goal in mind that, my foundation will be in the lab to get
Mhm.
myself, skilled, and then technically, to grow, and then I'll be able to go out there and pursue my long term goal. So
Yeah.
the being in the chemistry lab has really paved my way, because where I'm at now, I've gained so much experience from the analyzers or instruments that we were using in the lab. So I'm
Mhm.
assisting now to resolve issues that the lab has regarding those instruments, in order to make sure that, turnaround time is not affected, results can be reported timeously, and all of that. So
Mhm.
my goal is to see labs being operational, not being down because of technical issues on the instruments. So
Mhm.
we are basically the first line of contact when the labs phone in. So we
Mhm.
try as much as possible to resolve the technical and also analytical problems that are happening in the lab, and then try to push as much as possible to resolve everything over the phone, so that, we can speed up the the process of running samples and all of that.
So basically, what you're saying is when somebody has a breakdown in the lab, they literally take the phone and phone Zandile with their problem. So maybe the analyzer is broken down or they have some QC issues. So whatever they're having a problem with at that time, the first line of contact, once you've done your own troubleshooting in the lab, would be then to phone the supplier or whatever that instrument is that you are working with. Correct, Zandile? And if you pick up
Yes.
the phone, done your normal troubleshooting, the person that you will find on the phone is Zandile. So when you phone Zandile, you would have done your normal troubleshooting. You have not succeeded up to a point where you are equipped to fix or sort out the issue on that analyzer, and then you move it up to a supplier level. So Zandile has to have so much knowledge of the instrument itself and the assays so that she can resolve this over the phone as quickly as possible. And so that, for example, then if we can't solve it over the phone, then we physically have to send somebody over into the lab. The reason she's talking about turnaround time is because if you can solve it over the phone by yourself with her, then you don't have to have somebody driving all the way to wherever you are. Maybe they're busy at another site, or maybe they have to drive from the office or from home, wherever they are, all the way up to you, depending on how far you are. Right. So that also adds some delays in there. So if you yourself are equipped enough and you ask questions and you learn in that process, it makes it so much easier for you that you can get yourself up and running as fast as possible. So Zandila's role is very important. It's very critical. So her knowledge in chemistry and immunology is quite profound for us to be able to resolve these problems for you in the lab as quickly as possible. So I hope that makes it easy for anyone to understand. Please put a comment in there for us if there's any other thing that you want to know. Um, Oh wow, there's a comment here. Let me just see here. Facebook user, please allow.
Who are
Yeah. So
you?
let's see. Alex and Zandy used to be very good friends during varsity days. It's amazing to see both of you flying the TET flag very high and motivating NetTech to go beyond the lab. Oh my gosh. We
Oh,
want to
that's
know
so
who you are.
awesome.
We want to know who you are. I mean, we really
Wow, such great news. Wow.
So this is amazing. So we will only be able to see this once we log off as to who exactly is. Put in the comments on there.
Yes.
So that will be really amazing to see. So just
Yes.
going back now, if you have any questions for Zandile, throw her some love. Let's see. And so basically, how did you get in? Let's talk about that because we talked about what you do. How did you prepare yourself to get in? There goes
Okay.
Michael.
In this field that we're in, Leah, I'm not gonna lie. You can go by the book and everything, but networking is plays a really, really important role.
Yeah.
So, okay, I did apply as normal, but it also helped for me at the time that my good friend Alex was already in the company. So yes, he assisted me a lot. So really,
Mm-hmm.
I remember he also did a video on this platform
Yeah.
just to give advice on how to network, how to connect with people, and things like that. So
Yeah.
just I would really also emphasize that, network, because
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it makes things easier for you to go out
Yeah.
and pursue your dreams.
Those relationships are important, right? Those relationships are important. That's one
Definitely.
thing that we encourage here in the Facebook group where there is medical technologists and a whole host of other medical laboratory professionals. So the networking really is important because we need to get to know you. We need to be able to trust that you are a person that we would be able to work with, somebody we can refer. And like I said
Yes,
before, that you represent me when I actually refer you over into that company. So we need to actually
yes,
have a
definitely.
level of absolutely, let's build those relationships. So really great, Billy. Do you think this group will be able to promote that, Zanvile?
Yes, definitely. Because I was really excited when I saw that you started this group. To promote our career, because many a times where we are, set aside and we not acknowledged for, the hard work that we do as medical technologists. But really, I was really excited when I saw this, and I was like, this will help a lot of people, and then it will help us also to know each other, even if I haven't
Yeah.
met the person, but as we interact on this platform, then I can know that, okay, there is somebody out there who's qualified in one, two, three, and then should I see an opportunity that matches that person, then I can also, assist in that regard. So it's
Yeah, definitely. I've had quite an amazing couple of people that I've seen and met on this platform. And it's so
yeah.
amazing. Like there's one lady that I really like. Her name is Tumi Papo, and I've never met her in person, but I love her so much. She's so energetic, and so I'm hoping that one day she will allow us to interview her because I really would like to just meet her. I mean,
Yeah.
she's such an amazing soul. Let's get on to the next one. What are your core values? What core values do you live by, Zandile? So we can just wrap this up in a nice way.
Okay, so Leah, what wakes me up each and every morning is to know that, I'm going out there to make a difference in somebody's life. And
Mm,
what keeps me motivated, like I said earlier on, my faith in God. As a human being, you have your good days and bad days, eh? So I'm not
mm,
gonna lie and say it's a smooth sailing, but I always anchor myself with the word of God, and then know that I'm called in this world to do what I'm doing now in order to make
yeah.
people feel better. So I don't believe that anything happens just by mistake. So there is a purpose why I'm a med tech and why God has placed me in the area that am at the moment. So even in the
Mm,
lab, I used to encourage the students, to say, don't lose hope. I know there's not much money in the industry that we are in, but the benefit and the feel good effect of knowing that
yes.
you go home and you made a difference in so many people's lives. You have no idea of what impact your role has on.
Yeah. That is just amazing. We have a comment here from Busisiwe, and she says, yeah,
Yay!
right, grades will only help us get qualifications, but to get by in life, you need a network of people. You
That's
definitely do. You definitely do need that network. Absolutely amazing. And on top of that, if you have God by your side or whatever your higher power is,
yeah.
you definitely can do that. So this is absolutely amazing. So one final one for you, really. What is next for Zandile Madonsela? Huh? What can we expect? What is next? What is I mean, you've already gone from a learner technologist, got yourself bursaries, you went and became a senior and helped so many people in the
Yeah.
lab. You went on and now you are really working for this amazing global company where you do this amazing work and ensure that labs still keep running. And really, there's one thing we really let's just touch a little bit on your pharmaceutical sciences. So you did that as an additional qualification. So someone, if let's just talk a little bit about it before we close off, because I know there's some people that want to know about that. So you went on and did that, and so what does it take to get into that, and why do you do it, and what are the opportunities if you have that?
Okay, so after doing my national diploma in medical technology, I went on to study for a BTech in pharmaceutical science. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really interesting, guys. So there they teach you about clinical trials, drug
Mm-hmm.
development. They teach you about regulatory affairs. So it was so mind blowing for me because I did learn what was really in my bucket list when I was younger. I learned about how the medication that we take, how does it work in your body, the pharmacokinetics and all of that, and then
Ooh, Trevor.
so yeah, I get so excited when I speak about pharmaceutical
I
science.
can
My
man, that
God.
is just amazing.
You know, the whole process of the drug being developed, and then doing the clinical trials, and then going forward to register that drug so that it can be out there in the market. The whole
You
process is
get it,
really,
your face just lit up. Your face just started to glow as soon as you started to
my
talk about
face
that. I'm like,
lightens up because it's close to my heart.
amazing. Like we could definitely see that. So is that what is next for you? Would that be something that you try and venture into? What are the options with this? So it's pharmaceutical sciences, right? And you
Yes,
did that
so
with PhD.
you've got a couple of options there. You can either go into clinical trials and focus on that and become a clinical research associate, or you can go onto the regulatory side where you can work either for the pharmaceutical companies that are trying to register their pills, or their drugs to the MCC, which is now known as SAFRA. So,
Mhm.
or you can actually work for SAFRA, whereby you evaluate those drugs that they need to
Yeah.
register. And then there's also the sales side of it, where you can become a sales specialist. And then, if you're more business orientated, so that's the route that you can take. And then there's also the last one where you can work for the manufacturing pharmaceutical companies. So for that, you would have to choose obviously the specific modules that will take you through to that. So just to mention the modules that are covered in the course for BTech Pharmaceuticals, you've
Mhm.
got clinical trials, you've got regulatory affairs, which is registration of medicines. And then you've got biopharmaceuticals, you've got quality of medicines, you've got formulation of dosage. So you need 5 modules, but they offer
Yeah.
7 modules. So it's really an interesting course if
Wow.
one is interested in drug development, in like I said, registration of medicines, clinical trials, and all of that. And with this pandemic, Leah, clinical trials plays a really crucial role, because we are in the process of trying to get a vaccine for COVID-19. So, my face just lightens up. I'm really excited, and I try to
Yeah.
follow
So for those of us, so what happens? What are these clinical trials, and what happens in a clinical trial briefly? Like, so if you now start to work with clinical trial labs and
Mm.
companies, what exactly goes into that? Like, what is a clinical trial? If I want to now work at a clinical trial, what am I getting myself into?
Okay, so clinical trials is basically, when a pharmaceutical company decides that, they want to develop a certain drug for maybe a particular disorder or disease. So they will
Mhm.
formulate that drug and, discover all the molecules they want and develop it. But now the drug is not registered, it's still an unknown drug. So they will have to test how this drug works. So first they will test it in the lab. They will
Mhm.
test it on animals and then see how it reacts on mammals. And then from there, that's when they can start clinical trials, whereby there's 4 phases that they need to go through. So in essence, it can take a lot of years. It's not something that can be fast tracked. So you've
Yeah.
got your 4 phases, whereby the first phase is where they test the drug on healthy individuals to see, on a normal person who's healthy, who doesn't have anything, how does this drug work? And then they gather all that clinical information, and then once that is satisfactory, then they can move on to the second phase, whereby it will include a little bit of more people than the first phase. And then in this group, it can be either healthy or maybe also including people with that particular disorder, just to see
Mm-hmm.
on a little bit of a larger scale, how does the drug work. So provided that those results are good, we move on to the next phase, which is phase 3. And then phase 3, that is when we are on a larger scale now of people who have that disease. So if
Mm-hmm.
it's HIV, so it will be people with HIV. Now we want to see on a bigger scale, how is this drug working, and what are the adverse events that are recorded, things like that. All this information, we have to file it into a dossier, because at the end of the day, that big file needs to go to MCC or SAFRA, so that they can see how our clinical data looks like, and they will determine if this drug is it safe for for the whole nation, or what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a to and fro process. It takes long. They will tell you
Yeah,
this
it
is not
is
good.
amazing.
Is go back to the drawing board, things like that. And you know what? Even if you've reached phase 4, whereby the drug is actually now in the market, we're testing it real life,
Mm-hmm.
in that stage, should there be a lot of adverse events that are reported, it is possible for the MCC to withdraw that drug, call it
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you have to go back to the drawing board, do your research
Yeah.
again, try again. Yeah.
So I mean,
So,
for us in our case, and just to add on to what you're saying, like even with us as suppliers,
yeah,
right now I also have to go through that. So there's really
definitely.
it applies to us also, so that they have to go through SAPRA also to make sure that the reagents calibrated and everything else that you will be using from the supplier side is also approved for that. So it's not just for the pharmaceutical side. We also have that also. It applies to us, so you know for sure before it comes to your lab, it's gone through SAPRA as well. So
Yes,
that is
definitely.
just
That is where pharmaceutical science and medical technology meet, actually, which is something that I was not aware of before I did BTech in pharmaceutical science. I realized it's
yeah.
not only for the drugs, even in the industry that I'm in, the same instruments that we use have to be validated, they have to be checked. And then quality is the most important thing that our regulators look out for. So we still go through the same process as the drugs.
That is amazing. You guys have any questions for Zandile? I mean, she's just amazing. Any comments? Just show her some love. Let's get those comments in there coming in. So the final thing here for us and Zandile. So the one question we have that we always ask all of our guests that come on here is, what is your final message? What is your final message
Okay.
for anyone who wants to follow the path that you've been on? For someone who says, you know what, I'm not sure if I want to do biomedical, someone who thinks I'm tired of this course, it's a dead end job, it is, I don't know why I chose it, I don't know what's next for me. I feel like we definitely need to do another one where we give those options and talk a little bit more about the pharmaceutical science option, because I think it needs more time for those who are interested in that. So, but thank you
Yeah.
so much for everything. So, what is your final message to us?
Wow, what I can say, to somebody that is an aspiring medical technologist, I just want to encourage you that, please do your dream. Don't look at the fact that we are not the highly paid industry, but we are the most critical one in the world. So really, the role that we play as medical technologists is very important. So if you are looking for a role whereby you are helping people to get better, you're making a difference in the world. So this is the way to go. So please be motivated and remember why you started medical technologies in the beginning. So hopefully what I've said will encourage somebody out there, to just keep pushing and, be motivated every day to go to work and, make a difference.
So thank you so much, Zandile. I think this has been quite an amazing one for us today. I don't know if you are not motivated, inspired, transformed even. There is a comment here. Let me just see what this comment says. Yeah, Zandi, the pharmacist, Alex, big
Ah,
ass
that's
girl.
all.
Oh man, we want to see Zandile the
I
pharmacist.
will
I mean,
get
we
you,
are
Alex.
so interested in this. We really would be at a loss to have you go into pharmaceuticals, but I think you've given your best to this industry. You've
Yeah.
changed so many people's lives, and when we really were putting up the notice to say that we're gonna have Zandila on here, we had quite an amazing response where people were saying, "Oh, she
Oh,
saved my
yes.
life. She taught me how." You might not know it, but you've helped so many people, and we are just so blessed just to know you and have you in our lives. Hey, I'm getting not everywhere. I'm just like, can we just breathe? So we are very happy to see this very smiley
Humble,
person.
humble.
As soon as the phone rings and it's a customer on the other hand,
Yeah.
this phone rings and she goes from to I mean, let's just talk about it. How do you answer the phone in this? Can you just give us? So here goes the phone. Ring, ring, ring. How do you answer the phone? Let's just do that.
Okay,
Because
I don't want to
look, I'm
mention.
just
No, normally I would start by
no
saying
names.
the company's name and then my name, you know. So yeah, I don't
Okay,
want to
let's do
mention
it. So
the
let's say
company
you
name.
say, all right, company B, good afternoon, or I mean, let's just do that.
Okay, role play.
Yeah. So ring, ring, ring. Oh my gosh! And then there goes the phone. So ring, ring.
Company B, good morning, Zandi speaking. How can I help you? You're putting me on the spot.
Amazing! That is amazing.
I want to be professional at the end of the day, Leah. So yes, when it's business. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's how we've always known it to be, and that's how you continue to be. We know, like you just know. Zandile is always so professional. But when we laugh at her, she's fun. She's everything. She's a mother and a wife and a sister to a lot of us. A dear friend. I mean, it's just crazy. I still drive her crazy today. I still phone her. I'm like, hey man, how do we do this thing? And she would call me and say,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, I don't know. So we don't know anything. We love to find our things together. I mean, it's always been like that. And right
Yeah.
now, we're not competing for marks anymore. We used to compete, all three of us. But now
Yep.
we just went. We just went. And so we are really so happy. Thank you so much, guys, for the love. And just, this has
Thank
been amazing.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much. I'm so blessed. Thank you, Leah.
Oh my God. So when I asked you, I'm like, I wonder if she's gonna say yes or not. But you were
Ah,
like, oh yes, I'll do it. I was like, oh, did you say did I just had to make sure. Did you really say yes? Because I'm like getting excited. I'm so happy that you did, and it's just amazing to have you here. And oh my God, thank you so much,
anytime.
guys. Wow, we will
Thank
be
you
doing
so
this
much.
again because we definitely need more information from you and just get into that whole pharmaceuticals. I want to see that glow. I want to see that glow. So definitely, those of you who want to get more in touch with Zandile, you will find her in the group. You can ask her any question about chemistry, about anything. So definitely go out right ahead and shoot her up. And you can also find me on the group also, Leah M. Mulai, and you can follow me on all my social media. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.